The fighting between Israel and Hamas escalating even as the U.S. attempts some diplomacy. Overnight, Israel launching new attacks on Gaza City that leveled 3 buildings. Medics at the scene reporting at least 26 people were killed. And Israel's military released new video saying that it targeted the home of Gaza's top Hamas leader, though reports say it was unlikely he was at home at the time.
Meanwhile, there are voices this morning criticizing Israel for an airstrike that flattened a high-rise in Gaza. That building housed several major international news organizations, including the Associated Press. The Israelis did provide some early warning, allowing for people to evacuate.
Hamas firing more rockets into Israel overnight. The fighting has now taken nearly 200 lives, most of them Palestinian. A U.S. envoy now in Israel as the Biden administration hopes for a diplomatic solution in all of this. We begin our coverage with ABC's Matt Gutman on the ground again there in Jerusalem. Matt, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Whit. Mediation efforts have picked up, but so has the intensity of this conflict. You mentioned those airstrikes last night, the most ferocious that we have seen since the conflict began in Gaza. We are told that there are at least a dozen women and children killed there. The Israeli military said that the pace of rocket attacks against Israel is unprecedented, 5 times what it was in the previous conflict, leaving many parts of Tel Aviv, where 45% of the Israeli population lives, looking like this. This morning, Israeli artillery and airstrikes battering Gaza. The Israeli military releasing this video saying it shows an airstrike on the home of Gaza's most senior Hamas leader. But dozens of buildings have been flattened. Palestinian authorities say at least 26 have been killed in overnight strikes, 8 of them children. But an attack on one particular block tower is drawing international condemnation.
That building is where Al Jazeera's offices are. There we are, another strike on that tower. And the tower has come down.
Al Jazeera broadcasting live as the tower fell. The building also housing multiple international media, including the Associated Press. The media outlets say they were given just an hour to get out. Israel has claimed the high-rise building housed Hamas military targets, but provided no evidence for that. And in Gaza, not everyone offered those warnings. Rescuers clawing through the rubble this morning, calling to a man trapped inside. They managed to pull him out. And atop this pancake building in Gaza, as rescuers looked for survivors, Mohammed Hadidi was wailing. His wife and 5 sons were somewhere inside that pile, he said. An hour later, Hadidi is led into a Gaza hospital. A tiny miracle awaited him. Rescuers had pulled his 5-month-old son, Omar, from the rubble, alive. In Israel this morning, civilians also caught in the crossfire, the 6th consecutive night of rocket barrages, and a flurry of Iron Dome interceptors rising up to meet them.
We saw a bunch of those missile interceptors going up. And there's the boom of the interceptor.
Earlier, this rocket slamming into this Tel Aviv area neighborhood. Cars turned into fireballs, smoke everywhere. 1 man killed. And as we were hurrying to the scene, this woman racing ahead, ducking under police tape. She said she was rushing home to her children. Shrapnel and shockwaves blasting out balconies.
You can see the people behind me cleaning up. I believe that they've cleared the wounded. It's still very much a chaotic scene here.
And minutes later, we saw her again. Her girls telling me they rode out the attack in their bomb shelter. Their home, now unlivable, they wheeled those suitcases to find a safe place to sleep. Over the past 6 days, the Israeli military and government have steadfastly said that there is no timetable to end the airstrikes on Gaza. But for the first time this morning, we are hearing murmurs from the Israeli military that it could be over in a few days. Eva.
And then so many people hoping that that is the case. Matt Gutman for us there.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.